Ladies and gentlemen, I hardly need say that it is critical to find ways to prevent forests being converted to agriculture. And in this, I've been heartened by my conversations with some of the world's largest agribusinesses, which have told me that through more effective use of vast areas of degraded land, we could feed and fuel a growing population and keep the forests. But, ladies and gentlemen, it must be genuinely sustainable agriculture that helps to sequester carbon, protect biodiversity, and empower local communities and small farmers. We thereby create a truly virtuous, not a vicious circle, and one, because of its understanding of the relationship between agriculture and forestry, that can only improve the lives of many of the poorest people on the planet while simultaneously benefiting nature. It also builds what seems to me to be the absolutely critical chain which links ecosystem resilience, adaptive capacity, poverty reduction, and sustained economic development. This is the chain that we have broken, and it is the chain that we must now remake. The need fully to engage the private sector reflects not only the growing determination of business to act in a sustainable way, but, crucially, its determination to listen to customers. And what customers are saying ever more loudly is that they want their investment choices to make a positive difference to climate change. One practical result of my work with the private sector on corporate, social, and environmental responsibility for the past 25 years is that growing numbers of pension funds have made a commitment to set climate solutions at the heart of their long-term investment decision-making. To ensure a large-scale deployment of capital, these pension funds need clear long-term policies to be agreed here this week. This request is supported by the 191 financial institutions with assets of over $13 trillion, which signed the International Investor Statement on Climate Change. A further practical contribution is a statement by the International Corporate Leaders Group, of which I am patron, comprising over 900 of the world's most prominent companies, drawn from more than 63 countries, including all the G20 members, on the significant business opportunities which a robust, effective, and equitable global climate agreement could deliver. In helping to facilitate these initiatives, my simple aim has been to show that we can all make a difference if we are determined to do so. Above all, I am convinced it is these kinds of global partnerships between government, business, NGOs, civil society, and even individuals that will provide the global solutions needed to secure our future. Subsequent inflows of private sector investment would do much to reinforce the credibility of all those, particularly in the poorest countries, who have had the courage to believe in the positive outcome of this meeting. Several of their leaders, while being only too aware of the immediate economic benefits of monetizing their country's natural capital, have still chosen to follow the difficult path of turning their economies towards sustainable development. Such visionary people have a vital role to play in helping the world to find the strength needed to address its problems. But, ladies and gentlemen, they desperately need our support, for without it, they may not have a second chance. Surely now, then, is the time to recognize that we cannot have capitalism without nature's capital. We cannot sustain our human economy without sustaining nature's economy. Now, I know that so very many of you here today have been negotiating the unbelievably complex details of a potential agreement for a very, very long time, and you must be profoundly weary. But this is an historic moment. I can only appeal to you to listen to the cries of those who are already suffering from the impact of climate change. Just as mankind had the power to push the world to the brink, so too do we have the power to bring it back into balance. You have been called, ladies and gentlemen, to positions of responsibility at this critical time. The eyes of the world are upon you, and it is no understatement to say that with your signatures, you can write our future. And one final thought. As our planet's life support system begins to fail, and our very survival as a species is brought into question, remember that our children and grandchildren will ask not what our generation said, but what it did. So let us give an answer of which we can be proud.
Prince Charles there addressing the climate change conference in Copenhagen, warning that the planet is reaching crisis point. As he said there, we have only 7 years until we lose the levers of control.